very important session on getting a state perspective in terms of nurturing innovation, ensuring skilling and creating effective education ecosystem, the state's perspective. And for that, we will be joined by leading policymakers of the country from the state of Gujarat, state of Maharashtra, state of Andhra Pradesh, as well as from state of Odisha, and we'll have a Government of India perspective as well, along with Telangana, and also industry partner will be there with us for this session. So for this session, may I invite all our eminent speakers who have come from various parts of the country, the leading policymakers, if I may say so. Let me invite Anju Sharma, IAS, Additional Chief Secretary, Labour, Skill Development and Employment Department, Government of Gujarat, to come on stage, please. I think I'll request my colleagues if they can quickly inform. I think they're sitting in that other room. I request P.Raju Babu, IAS MD and CEO, AP State Skill Development Corporation, to come on stage, please. A huge round of applause from him. You have heard him already in inaugural session, but I'm sure in this panel discussion he'll be sharing a different perspective and also might be sharing some of the valid points in terms of challenges of skill development in the country. May I invite Professor V. Venkatramana, Vice Chairman, Telangana State Council of Higher Education, and Vice Chancellor, Rajiv Gandhi University of Knowledge Technologies, Basar, Government of Telangana. A huge round of applause for him, please. May I invite G.C. Ramamurthy, Joint Director, Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Government of India. We welcome you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us today. Let me invite Raghuram Iyer, Director, Higher Secondary Education, Government of Odisha, to come on stage, please. I think they're here. So we will be joined also by Nidhi Choudhary. She's also an IAS officer, and she's the Commissioner and CEO, Skills, Employment, Entrepreneurship and Innovation Department, and also Maharashtra State Innovation Society. She will be also joining us. Yeah. So, and we'll be also joined by industry leader Aditya Rajdhan, Enterprise Account Director, India, Coursera. So, I think Aditya is here. Aditya, if you can come on stage, please. A round of applause for him as well. So in this session, we would like to explore the kind of initiative being taken in the states. So we are joined by Nidhi Choudhary, IAS Commissioner and CEO, Skills, Government of Maharashtra. We welcome you, ma'am. Please, if you can come on stage, please. I request Anju Sharma, IAS Additional Chief Secretary, Labour, Skill Development and Employment Department, Government of Gujarat, to come on stage, please. A huge round of applause for her as well. Thank you so much for joining us today. So let me again inform all of you that we are joined by eminent leaders from the government ecosystem as well as industry for this special session on nurturing innovation, ensuring skilling and creating effective education ecosystem, the state perspective. For that, we are joined by Anju Sharma, Additional Chief Secretary, Labour, Skill and Employment, Government of Gujarat, Nidhi Choudhary, IAS Commissioner and CEO, Skills, Employment, Entrepreneurship and Innovation Department, as well as Maharashtra State Innovation Society, P.Raju Babu, IAS MD and CEO, AP State Skill Development Corporation, G.C. Ramamurthy, Joint Director, Curriculum Development Division, Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Government of India, Sri Raghuram Iyer, Director, Higher Secondary Education, Government of Odisha, and Professor V. Venkataraman, Vice Chairman, Telangana State Council of Higher Education, as well as the Vice Chancellor of Rajiv Gandhi University of Knowledge Technologies, Government of Telangana, and also joined by industry leader Aditya Rajdhan, Enterprise Account Director, India, Coursera. So without taking much time, this is Souvik, will be playing the role of moderator for this session. We welcome all of you for joining us in the 6th edition of Global Education and Skill Conclave. Let me start with Anju ma'am. If I may just ask you that the kind of initiatives being taken in the state of Gujarat. So maybe 2 rounds of question we'll have first, kind of initiative being taken in each of the state governments, and then we can talk about the challenges as well. So if you, ma'am, can kindly shed some light on 1 or 2 points of importance, which important steps have been taken in the state of Gujarat in terms of skill development and bridging the skill gap especially. Your thoughts on that, ma'am?
I have 5 minutes. 5 minutes? Okay. So thank you so much, and thank you, Souvik, for this panel discussion. Yes, skill development is the paradigm for the coming years now. And gone are the days when we were thinking, or we were, looking at skill development mostly at as the manual skills. So that the traditional definition between skill and knowledge is actually blurred now, and the boundary line between the two is blurred. And knowledge lets you be skilled, and to be knowledgeable, you need skill. So both ways it works. Now, if you see the Future of All Jobs report that was laid down in front of World Economic Forum last year, the entire job market all over the world is going to face a major upheaval because of the technology changes that are coming up and the Industry 4.0 adoption by the industry, by the industrial units and various sectors. A lot of jobs are going to get disrupted. And this may appear a very, very cliche kind of cliche, but that what we need to do is make our curriculums more dynamic, very, very dynamic, and somehow the traditional education system is not being able to do that because of our, it's not because of one person's intentions or two persons' intentions or the system's intentions not to change, but also because of the fact that we all have some kind of baggage on our back. And we have been molded in a certain way. Now, unlearning that, and it's like an old CPU. So you first rub everything off and write on different things afresh. But that's what we'll have to do. So those universities that do it will be doing it. Those universities that do not will be left behind. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to embed skill into the higher education system, into the school education system, into the education system as a whole, I would say. That let the education not remain only the book education. What should go out? From question papers, what should go out? It should be replaced with how and why. Why will add to, through why you can test the knowledge, and through how you can test the skill. When we ask what questions in the exam, it only tests the memory of the student. And now it's a world of Google, AI. What will you test? You don't need actually that memory. That has all been replaced by artificial memory. So we really don't need that. That boy, that young student, girl or boy, whatever, they have to now work in an environment where they need different kind of processing. Their processors have to be more strong in handling information, handling data, and taking out something good out of it. Taking something good out of it. Not on remembering, like I remember at some point of time, we used to remember, all of us of my age will recollect, we used to remember 500 telephone numbers. And then it's not needed now. Now some people don't even know their own number or their husband's number. So similarly, that paradigm shift has to come in education. If we keep on harping on that what, it's not going to work. Because what AI will do? AI will give you the what answer, give the student what answer. But how and why? These two things the student has to understand himself or herself. And so that's why we're now focusing a lot on embedding futuristic skills into the system. A lot of jobs are going to come up in emerging technologies, into AI, machine learning, of course, cybersecurity also, because the number of computers increase, networks increase, so cybersecurity is bound to be there. So basically, the emerging technology-related jobs, and a lot of jobs are going to come in sustainability. And it has been documented that the jobs to measure and to enforce sustainability, they will come up in a big way. Agriculture and horticulture will be looked at totally differently, and it's going to be a good job generator. And surprisingly, let me also tell you, surprisingly for all of you, a good job creator would be the training and education sector. And out of the three sectors, the third one is the training and education. We will need a lot of trainers and educators over the years, so newer jobs are going to come there. So we are primarily focusing on these through our various programs. Of course, considering the fact that given the model code of conduct, I will not mention any government programs over here. All those are available on the website. So we are focusing on future technologies, we are focusing on emerging technologies, and we are trying to create a model through our skill development mission and through our skill university, that let it be a free flow. If a student is doing 10th, and we prepare training of trainers for them, and if they want students to do a course in Python, we provide them a course of Python, and let the student do that as a part-time this thing, and give that credit, transfer that credit. And UGC has developed a very beautiful system of ABC now, academic credit transfer. So that enables everything. Only this much for now, because I can understand you have a time shortage. So before you tell me, I stop here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was a perspective by Anju Sharma. I think if I make a point that making curriculum dynamic, embedding skill into the education, not only higher education but also school education overall. Looking at the future skills, especially emerging tech. I think these are the 4 or 5 points which Anju Sharma has highlighted. Let's have a perspective from the state of Maharashtra. We have with us Nidhi Choudhary. He is the Commissioner and CEO Skills, and also Maharashtra State Innovation Society. He is heading that government of Maharashtra. Ma'am, your thoughts, because you just heard Anju ma'am talking about the 4 or 5 points. What is making curricular dynamic, embedding skill into the overall education ecosystem, focusing on future skills, and as well as emerging technologies. Your thoughts on how Maharashtra is doing in these lines, or do you think something else is also being done in your state? You can say as much as it doesn't break the election code of conduct. So you're free to say so.
Thank you. Thank you for reminding about MCC. Thank you for inviting too. Well, Maharashtra in skill development has made a lot of foray already. Before even the introduction of new education policy in our state, even at pre-SSC level, at 9th and 10th standard also, vocational education is provided in a number of schools. We have, even in higher secondary schools, HSVC, higher secondary vocational curriculum, which is also being made available in the schools which register for it, which get accredited for it. Then the bifocal course is available to students, which is also at the 11th and 12th standard. This is a state of Maharashtra scheme, and under which, other than the normal academics, like other than arts, science, and commerce, the students can also go for vocational courses with their higher secondary academic courses. Unlike a lot of other states in our country, Maharashtra has got a very deep network of ITIs. We have more than 1,000+ ITIs. Every taluka in the state of Maharashtra has got a government ITI, and the same is also. So all these ITIs, in every year, more than 1 lakh plus students are being trained on the trades which are identified and recognized by DGT. And I'm happy to share that recently, of late, for past 4 or 5 years, a lot of courses have been revamped completely by DGT. And we have closed down 1,200 plus units, batches, where the students were being trained on old, outdated trades, and they have been replaced with, as ma'am was sharing, Industry 4.0 trades. And other than that, with colleges, we have recently, last year only, started a scheme, which is Acharya Chanakya Mahavidyalaya Kaushalya Vikas Kendra. So after ITIs, as we know, at the college level, the skilling was bare. minimal in fact. The 14th Finance Commission has done a survey which told that, which gave out a report which was so stark for India that between 19 to 24, the youth in India, as per the survey report, only 5% of them had got some kind of vocational training. This was a report after the 14th Finance Commission. So there was a clear gap when the students were doing their graduation. At that point of time, there was no vocational training being provided anywhere. So to address this gap, Maharashtra last year has started this Mahavidyalaya Kaushalya Vikas Kendra. We are aiming to establish these centers in 1,000+ colleges across the state of Maharashtra. Also, the innovation, you mentioned that innovation also to be inculcated in the students. So not just at the higher education level, at the research level, we started last year a scheme, which is a Student Innovation Challenge program. And across the taluka level, we conducted these competitions wherein the students submitted their innovative projects. Later on, it was judged and evaluated at the district level and at the state level. And all these winners are now, they not only just got a cash prize, each of them worth 1 lakh rupees to just get the support for getting their idea into a prototype. But over and above that, they are all being incubated also through the incubation network that we have in Maharashtra. We have 100+ incubation centers. 27 of them are supported by Maharashtra State Innovation Society. But as ma'am also was mentioning that Industry 4.0 trades are required, artificial intelligence, M2M learning, 5G coming into picture. All of this also poses a good opportunity before every state in our country, because these are skill sets which are required across the countries. So it is like when we are skilling now, in the state of Maharashtra also, we are not focusing only for the jobs that are available in the state of Maharashtra. So last year, our state has announced a policy. It is the Maharashtra International Skill Centers. So we have started one international skill center in Mumbai, in ITI Vidya Vihar, and we are in the process of setting up 5 more international skill centers, which are having 6 language labs. So we are teaching, like our batch of German is starting today. We are starting a language learning course for German, French, Spanish, Hebrew, Japanese, Russian, wherever the job requirements are there. On the model of NSDC International, we have entered into an MOU with the NSDC International, and Maharashtra International Vertical, which works under me, is focusing on international skill sets. So as was discussed in the previous discussion also, that there is a gap, but gap doesn't lie only at the level of district, only at the level of state, only at the national level. There is a huge gap available at international level also. We have recently sent a batch of 55 youth who are solar technicians to a company in Saudi Arabia. Last year we sent 55 students on dual degree program in Germany. These are supported through government. We sent a batch of students to Japan under the dual degree program from ITIs. So there are all these schemes which are being implemented in the state of Maharashtra, focusing on the gap that exists in the demand that the industry and the services sector is bringing forth in Maharashtra and across the country. Not just there, but also globally. So this year, our focus primarily and majorly will be on tapping the international opportunities which are available globally. And we have a strong vertical which we are creating, like Maharashtra International. We are going to set up a state-of-art World Skill Institute supported by the World Bank Fund, Daksh, next year. So these are a few initiatives that we are undertaking. We have set up last year 511 centers for skilling in rural areas also. Like there are 1200 plus vocational training institutes which are other than my 1000 plus ITIs, which makes it a strong network of 2200 plus vocational training centers across the state of Maharashtra. Over and above that, 511 centers have been set up as Pradhan Mantri Gramin Kaushalya Vikas Kendras across the villages level, and now 1,000 centers in colleges. So I'm sure the gap that was existing is being met through these schemes. Thank you.
Interesting facts and initiatives shared by Nidhi Choudhary. You talked about focusing on vocational courses, 1,000 plus ITIs, 1,000 plus Kaushalya centers in colleges, 100 plus incubation centers. Another interesting point you talked about is that focusing on international skilling and focusing on international language learning courses you're running. That's quite interesting. We have with us P.Raju Babu. He's the IAS officer. He's the MD and CEO of AP Skill Development Corporation, APSSDC as it is commonly known. I'll ask a different question to Mr. Raju Babu. We heard him in the inaugural. But as a policy maker and heading a skill department, Mr. Babu, where do you see the role of government playing out between academia and industry as a facilitator in terms of ensuring that quality skill development is happening? Your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
You can take one example of AP also if you want.
That's okay. Yeah. Basically, unless the government actively chip into this kind of an activity, then it is quite difficult only relying on private sector institutions. As we know that, private university, they do have a better facility, better training centers. Whereas as far as the government is concerned, anyway, a lot of concerns are there. That is why, always the perception of the people is that, no, if you go to a particular college, then your placement will be guaranteed. So, in Andhra Pradesh, they made an institutional setup such a way that on the top level there is a university, skill university, and the next level is the skill college, and the down to it is the skill hubs, and at the bottom, the stakeholder level, the spokes, skills spokes. So this is the structure which is, the structure is there, and also the proper officers are put in, and it will run like an institution. It will always coordinate with the spokes requirement and also the educational institutions. So this actually enables, it actually serves two purposes. The one is that wherever the students who would like to go for higher education, where they want to absorb in higher positions, they go for it, and for them exclusively, each university, these are not, not only the private funded, and this also government funded or UGC funded universities. Every university is an incubation center and a training institution. Is a mandatory thing, then definitely they will simultaneously impart the required skills and they absorb it. But the scope is very little when we compare to, the every year, the number of pass outs and also the placements, if you compare it, it's a huge gap. So how are we going to address this? So the best way is that, the graduate and undergraduate. For graduates, like an engineering graduate or any other professional degree, bachelor level, now what we did, as ma'am said, we have included the most sought after courses in the academic syllabus itself. So that from the beginning, all these semesters, they will also go simultaneously with the skills. Then what about the students who have already now in the fourth year, they never gone through these phases. And for them, exclusively, these skills colleges are actually the mentor institutes for them. And higher level, graduation level, then the undergraduation level. Like, ITI, as ma'am said, polytechnic institutions. So what about them? So this is also the huge number. Then we have to use these resources also, in this ecosystem. Then only the overall development will happen. So for them, what we are planning, entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is very, very important. Once the graduate not only focusing on how he is going to absorb in a placement, he should be in a focus to how he is going to provide a placement for others. So, for example, urban company, or earlier it was urban club. That's a simple example. So, I will go in this way. One is that the demand which is there in the industry and the demands which is existing in domestic. So, which is very, very important. I think we are not focusing on that. So, for example, most of us, we are living in apartments. Every year, minimum 5 to 10,000 rupees we are going to spend on either electrical charges or for plumbing charges, every year. But it's quite difficult for us to find a person. We need to wait and we have to postpone, that requirement with a kind of adjustment. So this, if we have, entrepreneurship kind of a thing, the graduate person can open a small entrepreneurship, and he will take all these ITI and polytechnical guys who are actually, got skills in our skill colleges or skill hubs on plumbing, electrical, and, the carpentry, all these things. Then this will act as a, the nodal, and lot of employment will be provided. I think then my practical experience, when I asked and interacted with the fellow who is working with the urban club, the last mile fellow person, every month is earning not less than 20,000 to 30,000 in urban areas. We should not ignore that. So that, which itself is a sufficient money. So if we do this, if we go this kind of a thing, then definitely, all the students and who are passed out as of now will be absorbed there. So my surprise, we have, the imported skills for 16 lakhs as of now, but actually placed only 4 lakh people. What happened to 12 lakh people? 12 lakh students? That is a big question. And even an unorganized, unorganized sector, unemployment in unorganized sector index shows, so that itself shows that, still 0 to 1, 65% is an average. That means that a lot of, the people to be accommodated. This is the sector where we are somewhat, not taking into, not giving it much importance. But now it is a time to give an importance so that every, the undergraduate student or a person definitely will be getting a sufficient this thing. Then, not only that, inversely, the magic here is that the manufacturing company will also benefit out of it. For example, painting or even in the plumbing, for example, Jaguar is there. So you are taking the Jaguar plumbing equipment, but if you get the repair and it's quite difficult. If that particular the plumbing activity, plumbing exposure is there for these students like ITI or the Polytechnic, then what happen? The service is more, then automatically business will grow and the expansion will happen. So this is how we are working on. Andhra Pradesh is, because since we have institutional setup, definitely this particular domestic demand, we are also taking into consideration. Accordingly, we are planning for that.
Right, interesting take. One is institutional setup, a top skill university, after that skill colleges and skill spokes, focus on courses embedded with the academic curricula itself, and entrepreneurship, focusing on entrepreneurship. But you also spoke about something which is very interesting. It's not only about whether he or she is skilled in the new digital techniques or technology, but the example you have given, like the plumbers and all those, because that they can also earn, and they can also generate employment in that ecosystem. Interesting. So how can I not ask the next question to the speaker from Telangana, because I have asked the first question from speaker from AP. We have with us Professor V. Venkataramana, Vice Chairman, Telangana State Council of Higher Education, and as well as the Vice Chancellor of Rajiv Gandhi University of Knowledge Technologies. So, Mr. Ramana, from a higher education perspective, your thoughts on how higher education institutes, government and industry can come together for bridging the skill gap, if you can share some points.
Thank you. Thank you, Souvik. Let me first thank my co-panelists for having thrown a lot of light on skilling. I am with the Higher Education Council, and we look after all the universities. We are a facilitating institution. Now, what we are trying to do is we are trying to identify the skill gaps, number one. Number two, we have not really set up a skill university, but we are going to set up a couple of universities with industry partnership. We had facilitating institutions, and still have Telangana Academy of Skills and Knowledge, and we're converting ITIs into universities. But the crux of the whole issue is that how do we coordinate this whole activity? Because while academics talk about credits and courses and what has to be taught, curriculum, the industry talks about the industry readiness, future-ready graduates. So what we have done is a three-tier approach. First, the higher level skill, for example, engineering graduates, they need a higher level skill. And like ma'am said, we need to embed courses into it. For example, value-added courses. Now, AI, we have a separate department for emerging technologies. And as you know, Telangana is home for the startup and innovation capital, so to speak. We have T-Hub and we have V-Hub, which can support women entrepreneurs. So primarily what we are trying to do is at the engineering level, we are trying to connect them with industry to get the latest skills, let it be AI, ML, whatever it is. And then we come to the polytechnic level. And then to the degree level. In the graduate level, we have really done a very good initiative called the Sector Skills Councils. We have introduced retail, beauty and wellness, so on and so forth. You know, we've even got agri entrepreneurs. We are getting hospital administration. So these are support staff. We have a corporation which exports, which I should not say, which sends people to Japan for nurses. So this is a trend now. We are preparing youth for the global skills. When I adding to what I said, we're also looking at the trends emerging. For example, GER in Telangana is quite high. The gross enrollment ratio is 10% more than the national average. And when you look at the intake, you find around 500,000 students passing out the school, then coming into intermediate, we still have the intermediate model, and then coming to around 3.6 lakhs are the graduates. So at every level, engineering, non-technical, even arts, for example, typically, the trend is people go towards commerce education. And when you look at the commerce education and engineering, unfortunately, many of us think engineering would only mean IT. There are a lot of areas in engineering called BFSI, banking, financial services, which actually contribute 40% of the jobs. So we have tied up with a lot of big majors. In fact, Hyderabad is home for Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, a lot of financial institutions. So we are forming a consortium-led approach where we will try to get these skills from these institutions, make them job-ready, and then reduce the, like Raju Babu Garu said, reduce them time for the industry to get into action mode. Next thing, again, as ma'am said, ESG is going to be the top priority, environment, sustainability, governance. These are areas where we need to improve and innovate, and we are doing that. Also, industry involvement in all our activities. We are signing a lot of MOUs, not just MOUs for the sake of MOU, but we are really working out. And then the curricular development. What we find in typical universities, is, including our own state, is that we have not revised our curriculum. It is not contemporary. So we have, as a mandate, taken industry leaders into our boards of studies and ensuring that the industry perspective comes to the boardroom. From the boardroom, it goes to the classroom. Also, one more thing I just want to tell and then close, is that when you find, if you look at the Singapore model, ITS is a very good model, we have been there. They identify people, students, and their skills, the readiness, or their interests, And then right from maybe 10th or 11th class or 9th class, they take them into different streams. So we have plans to work on these models. Not everybody needs to go into the graduation. Somebody could be a good plumber, as you said, or somebody could be a carpenter, somebody could be a facilities manager, somebody is very good at maintaining certain facilities. So that is one other model which we are talking about. And we are, for example, even in engineering, we are looking at industry. Just today, we are going to sign an MOU with IIT Hyderabad to train civil engineers in the contemporary areas of area ladder surveys, etc. This have tied up with a top civil engineering company. So that means, and all of that is free. Mind you, we are also working on model where women, because 70% of the higher education today in Telangana are women. It's a very interesting stage. And we would like to focus. Unfortunately, we never looked at it. Many years back, our policymakers felt that it is only, would not enter the system. But now we need to work on women entrepreneurship. Excellent startups will come out of them and enthuse them to do that. And lastly, I think, as Prahlad, the famous management guru, said, Indian population is not a disadvantage, it's an advantage. If you look at number of young people in India, and if you can hone them up with some skills to market to the world, you can become the top skill exporter. Somewhere down the line, we miss the line because we focus so much on services. And if we can now focus at least some part of it on manufacturing, advanced technologies, I think, we'll have done it.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. You talked about a lot of things, innovative initiatives being taken in the state of Telangana. You spoke about T-Hub, Skill Hub, also preparing for global skills, and also you talked about the ESG. That is a very important sector that you are preparing students to be equipped with the skill for the ESG sector as well, environment, social sector. That is interesting. I'll quickly have a perspective from the state of Odisha. We have with us Raghuram Iyer, Director Higher Secondary Education, Government of Odisha. Mr. Iyer, your thoughts on how government can play the role of facilitator in terms of bridging the skill gap between academia and industry as well.
Before I go into the thing, I would just like to share, since I am holding the post of Director of Higher Secondary Education and looking after the 11th and 12th, so the school education perspective. So first of all, in the last few years, the school system has found, there has been a lot of improvement in the school system first, in terms of infrastructure. Thanks to COVID, smart classes have become a very common word. And almost all high schools, around 8,000 plus high schools in the state, they have either 1 or 2 or 3 smart classes. So infrastructure in terms of the school environment that has been developed. Now the work is going on at the higher secondary level for 11th and 12th, the schools, they are also getting a facelift. So maybe within the next 1 or 2 years that will be complete. So besides that, teachers, the school teachers at the elementary, at the secondary, at the higher secondary level, at all these levels, they have now been exposed to online classes and also offline classes using digital methods of teaching. So students are now finding classes interesting in terms of an audio-visual experience in a marked shift from the earlier chalk and board classes that they used to attend. So in this sector also, there was a challenge of having less teachers. That also has been mitigated to some extent. At all levels now we are having teachers recruitment done, and so we are having quite a good number of teachers. In future, what I would like to see for the few years ahead is that the capacity building of teachers has to be strengthened, and especially for using AI and digital technology and the critical thinking, problem solving, these sort of application-oriented teaching should be incorporated in the schools. That is what we are going to work with our teachers, so that the students are prepared for the future generation, for the future education. We also have in the higher secondary level as well as the high school level, we have a lot of exposure to vocational and skill education. So that is also, we are also thinking of strengthening that. A lot of dialogues have been going on with our skill education department. So with other partners, with the skill development department of the state and of the center, a lot of awareness has now been generated among students. In fact, in the last few months, we have had lot of online classes for the higher secondary students, where they are having an exposure to the career that is offer or that is available to them. Lot of online classes we have conducted, sessions we have conducted, and this has become a hit with students. They have a lot of queries, questions being addressed by experts on in different career fields. So creating awareness among the students, that has been a focus area for us, both in terms of career and especially in terms of skilling and vocational education. So in future, we'll be also working on the vertical mobility with the higher education department, so that there are courses, formal courses, which students can take up after completing their 12th exams.
Right. You talked about various initiatives, but one of the important initiatives you talked about is capacity building of teachers. I think in the inaugural session also, one of the speakers talking about that it is also imperative to ensure that capacity building of teachers or faculty happens. Otherwise, who's going to teach what needs to be taught? So that is very important. And also, I think you talked about the school education scenario. I know there are some states which has already started courses on AI and emerging technology in the school level itself. I think 2-3 states have already started that. That is also interesting. We got perspective from states. Let's have a perspective from Government of India. We have with us GC Ramamurthy, Joint Director, Minister of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. Mr. Ramamurthy, you can just shed some light on, we know the kind of work being done by the Ministry of Skill Development. Maybe 1 or 2 points where you see that a lot of synergy can happen in future. If you can just quickly.
A very good afternoon. Warm welcome to all the dignitaries on the dais, Vice Chancellors, school education heads, and APSC for giving me this opportunity. I represent Director General of Training under Ministry of Skill Development, Curriculum Development section. So my thought or discussion will be on our activities of Director General of Training, that is called as ITIs. Even before NEP came into existence, we were in the skilling from 1950 onwards. The ITIs, maybe the importance or the names were not significantly in the market, but we were there. As on date also, we have 15,000 ITIs across India, and leading states like Maharashtra, they have 1,000 plus, UP. So, and the capacity of students is around 35 lakhs. We have 157 trades. Course duration varies from 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. Now, when we look at the backbone of this skilling is concerned, I can proudly say that the industrial training institutes are the front leaders of, we can say very simple is, we are the makers of Make in India, or all the frontline workers today, what we name, electrician, plumber, whomsoever you call, we call it as from the ITA system. So from the DGT perspective, the schemes we run is very popular schemes called CTS, that is an ITI, to instructor for ITI, it's called CITS. Very popular. Another one is called Apprentice Training Program. It's covered by Apprentice Act. When we look at the reforms we have done in this ITI system, as though we understand that curriculum development, though it has to be contemporary, but as an education institute has to have a regulatory framework, it is not easy to make a dynamic change because it needs a lot of investment in infrastructure, training of trainers, all those. So in the DGT, we have done the reforms in terms of recognizing the ITIs, namely grading system, examination system. Then the main important focus is in curriculum development, that is the Bharat skills. One of the best I can say where we have put up all the curriculum in open source, free of cost. The entire instruction material, entire printed material in the soft copy, the model question papers, everything is in the open source. And it was considered last year the best digital experience in India. In which these ITIs have been now given a facelift by the various state governments, namely like started with Karnataka. The Tata have invested on setting up Industry 4.0 labs in ITIs, all the government ITIs, started with Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, now in Uttar Pradesh. The next phase is going to be in Assam. So the industries are now slowly and steadily are coming to our ITS system, and it is a good sign where, as we see in most of the developed countries, all the ITI or vocational systems are adapted by industries. Normally the industry sends the trainees to the institutes there. Here we send institute trainees to the industries. In this DGT we have introduced various schemes like dual system of training, means industry can run the courses with minimum intervention in institutes. We have introduced curriculum of flexi MOUs, that means like companies like Maruti, now Mahindra, or other leading industries can frame their own syllabus, can make their own workmen in par with our CTS, we call flexi MOUs. These are all some of the initiatives Government of India has taken. Even in the apprentice, lot of reforms has been carried out. Ease of doing business, in the entire contribution from government for apprentice, we call stipend. It is a direct beneficiary transfer, a digital India. The stipend goes to the trainee straight away to the account with whatever the contribution from the industries. So these are some of the initiatives government has taken, and we will keep on doing this so that the objective of our Honorable Prime Minister making Skill India Hub with active participation from various states and industries, I am sure the initiative of government will result in a fruitful association for the benefit of India. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Raghuram, Iyer, GC Ramamurthy is a Joint Director, Minister of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Government of India. I found a lot of similarities between what you were saying and what Nidhi ma'am was also saying, that very, very important part played by the ITIs, and that can be that can be developed also with keeping in mind the need of the hour. Thank you so much. We have with us industry leader Aditya Razdan. He is the Enterprise Account Director of India for Coursera. Aditya, you have heard, I think you have got all the perspective from the various parts of the government ecosystem, if I may say so. You got the state perspective, you got the Government of India perspective. So how platforms like Coursera are able to narrow that widening skill gap? So I'll basically ask you one question, but it is divided in three parts. One is how a platform like Coursera is trying to help to narrow down the skill gap. Also, how your organization is helping government in terms of providing training, and also how Coursera is ensuring that the future workforce is ready for the future need of the hours. So, but I won't give you much time, but three parts of the same question, you can answer accordingly. Over to you.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. So before I answer this, right, and you gave me that caveat that we don't have time. And the best part of it is you've already displayed it on screen, the time's up.
Oh, no, so you can
right?
carry on.
I'll just chime on to what the speakers
Is
from
he
the morning
audible?
have been.
Just,
Am I?
I think mic is not working.
Okay.
That's what.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
All right, so I'll just chime in quickly to what the speakers from the morning have been talking about and to what my fellow panelists were talking about. So Coursera's single point mission, I would say, is to make world-class education accessible to people across the globe, anywhere, anytime, across the globe. And I think our partnerships with government are at the forefront of it. I'll quote a couple of examples to answer what we are doing and how we are collaborating. But just to take a step back, we are currently working with government departments or ministries across 100+ countries globally. That's what we are doing today. Now, the whole focus is to bridge that skill gap, certainly. On the other side, I'll quote two examples for everyone here. One is how we are doing it and what we are achieving out of it, or how we are supporting the governments to move forward on employability. So we are working with, I think, Iyer was here, he was talking about what Odisha government is doing. So we are working very closely currently with Odisha government, where we have made Coursera courses available. The government's focus is emerging technology. So government wants to build that workforce in emerging technology today. So we have enabled the youth through the Department of Skill Development in Odisha, and the courses are being made available to them. Now, as a step to what the department has done, the technical education department in Maharashtra, in Odisha, what they have done is that they have made Coursera a part of the curriculum within the public universities in Odisha. So if in case you are a technology student, or even if you are a polytechnic student, you will have an opportunity to access Coursera and learn from the world's leaders, be it the industry-aligned micro-credentials that you want to take, or you want to take the best of the courses from the best of the professors across the globe, including the ones from India. So that's what we have been focusing on. And just to add one quick point here, another example is, so Tamil Nadu government wanted to develop workforce in electric vehicle designing. So we collaborated with TNSDC there, pretty much similar to how we are working with OSDA in Odisha, and we enabled thousands of learners in Tamil Nadu with pure focus on electric vehicle design. The courses were offered through Anna University to its affiliate colleges. Pretty much same model to what I was mentioning about in Odisha. So it's enabling the students and getting for government or otherwise also getting the future workforce ready for them. And it's also good for industry, right? When I want to go to a particular state for investing, I know they have a ready talent pool. It helps me to pick the right pool and more skilled pool for my company as well. So that's what we have been doing broadly.
I'll quickly ask you another question.
Till
now I was asking policymakers or who are representing state governments or government of India that what role government should be playing in terms of facilitating between academia and industry. You are representing an industry. So what are your thoughts on industry's role for pushing government and academia more to have a curricula which goes aligned with the need of the industry?
I will take next 10 minutes to answer this also, because this is one of my favorite topics to talk about, but I'll just keep it to 30.
You can have 5 minutes.
I would love that, but your timer has started again, so I'm a little cautious of that. But it's a beautiful question that you've asked. So what we are doing currently is the courses that are being created by industry. Say somebody wants to be a social media marketer today, or somebody wants to be a data analyst, or somebody wants to be a UI UX designer. So we are picking those courses and bringing it down to the students through government. Now, at the same time, what is happening is when we are helping, so we are the bridge basically, I can tell you that way, right, in as simple words. So we are getting those courses, the best of it, to the universities. Today we are working with few government universities through these government departments that you mentioned about, wherein we are revamping the whole course curriculum. There are universities which are about to or which have just started. I'm not at the liberty of answering or giving the names out right now, but in next few weeks, couple of weeks, you'll see few public universities coming out and saying that our minors are these in our degree programs and these are on Coursera. These are through Coursera. Then this is the new curriculum which is getting published, and as a part of curriculum, in semester 1, you are supposed to do these competency courses or skill-based courses. In semester 2, this, semester 3, this. And these are all on Coursera. So the universities we have started working with very closely so that they can get those best of the courses and make it available, and it should not be a forced decision in terms of there's only one choice per semester. So we have created those buckets for them that they can pick from the best of the courses based on the interest of the student and also based on the vision of the state, which is helping them which is going to help them in future to land better jobs and enhance the employability also.
Right, right. I think we have come to the end of this session on nurturing innovation, ensuring skilling, and creating effective education ecosystem. The state's perspective, I think, for last 30-40 minutes, what we have discussed, we had various views from the policymakers from the state of Maharashtra, from Gujarat, from Andhra Pradesh, from Odisha, from Government of India Skill Ministry, and from industry. I think what comes out, if I may say so, as a crux is that need of the hour is looking at the futuristic skills. Technology is there, we have to leverage technology, and at the same time, we also have to look at the what kind of prospects ITIs are having, because that can also generate a huge amount of entrepreneurship, entrepreneurial ecosystem for countries, especially for a country like India, which has got 140 crore population. And I think there is no end to the limit of what India can offer in terms of global skilling as well. Thank you so much. Can you have a huge round of applause for all our speakers who joined us for the inaugural session? Anju Sharma, Nidhi Choudhary, P.Raju Babu, G.C. Ramamurthy, Raghuram Iyer, Venkat Ramana from the Telangana, and Aditya Razdan. I request Mr. Gopikrishna Arora, co-founder of APAC News Network, to come on stage and kindly hand over a small token of appreciation to our eminent speakers. We can start with Nidhi Choudhary, Commissioner and CEO Skills, Government of Maharashtra. A huge round of applause for her, please. To Raghuram Iyer, Director, Higher Secondary Education, Government of Odisha. To G.C. Ramamurthy, Joint Director, Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Government of India. To Aditya Razdan, Enterprise Account Director, India, Coursera. Can we have a group photo of all the speakers together, please?